this might be the best movie of the year so far.
Well, because it's March. Deep Water drops today on Hulu.
Does it ever? We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Because how long has it been since we've been able to review a legit erotic thriller?
Well, that's been ages. And this show has not been around long enough for us to ever talk about an Adrian Lyne movie, because it's been 20 years since he made it.
It has. Unfaithful was the last one. This is a worthy successor and an update to the erotic thriller. And this is a movie where Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas fell in love. So it's a little time capsule.
Boy, howdy.
And that's part of the fascination is watching all that. So Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas are a married couple living in New Orleans. They have a little girl. And they have sort of an unusual marital situation going on here because she is beyond just a shameless flirt in ways that she flaunts in front of all their friends. Like, she messes around on him.
You want to tell me why you didn't come home last night?
Not really.
This isn't a game, Melinda.
It's always been a game.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
And whether or not he's okay with that, he doesn't fight it because he doesn't want her to divorce him. And it's just part of the deal. And maybe in the beginning, he kind of gets off on it. And eventually he can't stand it anymore. And so the film follows the progress of how that dynamic evolves and what happens to the men who are unfortunate enough to fall under Ana de Armas's spell, because she's sexy as hell. She's a freaking firecracker in this. And like all the promise that we saw from her very earliest films and what we saw just in that tantalizing snippet in No Time to Die.
Right.
It's all on display here. It's all backless dresses and her hair being tossed everywhere. And like, she's drunk all the time. And like, nobody in this movie behaves in ways that even begin to resemble normal human behavior. Right?
Maybe the friends do a little bit, but not much.
Maybe the friends do, because they're all like, dude, we're worried about you. This is not cool. But also, I love the use of the New Orleans setting because it kind of creates this vibe that anything is possible. Like, they didn't just shoot in New Orleans for the tax breaks. Right. So many films take place in Louisiana for the tax incentives. But here I feel like they really capture that sense. Have you ever gone to Mardi Gras before? You've been to New Orleans
I
before?
have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The first time I went to Mardi Gras, I was a senior in college, and I immediately felt like I had crossed this plane into a place where like the rules didn't apply and anything could happen at any point in time. And that vibe really permeates all throughout this film in mundane scenes, like they're having a backyard pool party, or like they're just kind of bickering at each other over lunch. And so the tension for me here comes from not even the sex scenes, but like, what bitchy snide thing will they say to each other at the dinner table? So I dug this in every way.
In my review in the wrap, I said that Ana de Armas is basically playing a combination of the Elizabeth Taylor character from Butterfield 8 and the Elizabeth Taylor character from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
All of it. Bring it all on.
What's fun about this movie is partially the sort of what exactly did or didn't Ben Affleck do, and what is or isn't he capable of? But also it's, how does she feel about it? How much does she know? And is she into it? You know, that's kind of the mystery at play here. So that's what's sort of interesting. I mean, yes, this movie does what it wants to do. It is very much an Adrian Lyne thing. It's very sort of like kind of, you know, it's approachable luxury porn and lots of heavy breathing and lots of, you know, lingerie and whatnot. It's kind of dumb, but it's also very watchable. It's based on a Patricia Highsmith novel, but they changed the ending. You had the joke about like you drink every time Tracy Letts scowls at someone.
I need a whole supercut of Tracy Letts like glaring disapprovingly at people. Please, someone do this for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted it to just be transcendently trashy, and for me it was just regular level trashy.
It's good trash though.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
well
Yeah.
crafted trash.
I recommend this movie. I'm just not as gaga about it as you are.
The whole parallel editing structure at the end, you didn't love that?
No, look, there's a lot of flourishes. There's this whole thing about Affleck's character raising snails. So he's got this whole
Yes.
shed in back where like it rains inside every so often.
Let's talk
and-
about the snails. What's that about, do you think?
I don't know if it's about their asexual reproduction or what exactly. Well, he talks about, no, actually he has that whole line about how you can't just make escargot because if the male snails still have their semen inside, it will poison you. I think that's what that's about.
Okay. And also there's like a really tactile kind of almost sensual quality to the close-ups of the snails like intertwining their sliminess around each other.
Oozing around. Yeah. Well, my favorite kind of, for me, it was a knowing joke. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like Ana de Armas goes through this series of very sort of like blankly handsome himbo dudes that she is banging, culminating in perhaps the ultimate blank-faced himbo, Finn Wittrock.
Perfect casting, right? We had to be here eventually. Yeah, I just never knew what people were going to say to each other. I never knew which new boundary of polite societal behavior they'd push, and that was really exciting. And I believed them as a couple, even though they don't have a traditional kind of sexual chemistry with each other. I
Sure.
believe them as a couple because they have a way of just looking at each other and getting under one another's skin that felt lived in and true. And like, she's not a good mom, really, but
No.
but I did recognize when her little girl, who is smart but not precocious, a little girl Trixie, keeps asking Alexa to play Old MacDonald, and Ana de Armas is like, Alexa, stop playing that song and never play it again. I'm like, I feel you, I do, as a mom.
Yeah, no, this is really entertaining, and despite the, who knows, maybe this is why they broke up. There's that long-standing rule that real life couples don't have chemistry, and that often couples that do have chemistry in movies or on stage don't like each other. They have chemistry, so read into that what you will, but they are hot together.
They are, I mean, in their own way. And then like, there's something in Ben Affleck's performance that I really love here, because there is like a vulnerability and a sadness and kind of an openness to it that we don't see a lot. A lot of my favorite Ben Affleck performances are movies like The Last Duel, or like Boiler Room, or where he could just like swoop in and be arrogant and then leave. And here there's like a softness and a sadness and an openness. There's a scene at the park where, she's asking, why did you stay with me? And there's like a look in his eyes that is so fragile that I found unusually interesting.
No, he's really quite good, and finds a lot of ways to be sort of angry and brooding without just sort of like clenching his fists and gritting his teeth. Like there's a lot going on under the surface, for sure.
For sure. So I'm saying 8.8. I dug it. This did what I wanted it to do.
I said 6.5. I had a good time. I would recommend it. I'm just not going to like crazily endorse it, but I will say it's fun and you should see it.
This might be the best movie of the year so far.
Well, because it's March.